Welcome in to the Channel Tennessee podcast. It is December the 1st, 2024. Austin, my friend, in less than a month, I will say 2025. Because I know you're sick of hearing 2024.
I want something new, you know?
Less than a month.
Every time the year is 20, I'm like, what year is it going to say? I fucking forgot what year it was.
You're like Robin Williams in Jumanji. What year is it?
Yeah. And then he says 24. I'm like, again. I had my money on 22. What the heck?
You got to acknowledge the year. You got to know what year you're in, you know?
Yeah.
You need to just bring a newspaper every podcast.
Austin, get a calendar and you'll notice things are trending to 2025.
Trending is a massive word nowadays. Big time word.
Yeah, you should get a dictionary and learn it.
Let's trend towards what happened this weekend. The Ball State care of Vandy, the 36-23, and they punched their tickets to the college football playoffs. Speaking of punching, with a lot of flags punching the middle of the field this weekend as rivalry weekend was in full swing. A lot of flags, a lot of fights. It was awesome to watch. We will break down this game. We'll break down Nico. Had a pretty big game, 257 yards passing, 4 total touchdowns. Dylan Sampson, 179 yards rushing. Deontay Thornton, 3 receptions, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. Defense showed up second half. Jamon McCoy had an insane interception. But again, welcome into the Channel Tennessee podcast. I'm your host, Randy, alongside my good friend, Austin Brown, alongside my good friend, DR Ball. What's going on, my friends? What's going on, DR?
Not much. Just sitting back thinking about the game. And, man, I'm telling y'all, the hope and the want for hosting the playoff game, it's like somebody drowning wanting to surface. I got to have it, y'all. We got to get that tailgate, man. And it'd be nice, too. Like, we get a few warm days in December. What if we get like a 50-degree day, especially for a night game, tailgate all day, and go to the game at night with our vintage starter jackets? It's like my Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, I mean, it just one more, like you said, one more tailgate, man. One more tailgate would just be so legit, so awesome, so amazing. That'd be freaking sweet. Austin, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm
How was your weekend?
Pretty good. I was in attendance. I made the trip out to the Mid-State on I-40, and that was an interesting game. It's weird. The only game that felt like that at the start for me was it really was reminiscent of actually the Titans playoff game I went to with the Bengals, because it took a while for me. Like Vandy, obviously they were not really prepared for that many people. Well, mainly because of the construction and whatnot, and even though that's happened like 3 times this year, but it took me a while to get in. I got like 20 minutes before the game at the gate, and it took about 15 minutes to get through that line, and then apparently I had to walk all around the stadium to the other side to get to my seat. And as I'm walking through the stadium, I obviously hear the kickoff return, and Vandy return it for a touchdown. And that was reminiscent because I remember, never forget, I was walking in the concourse to my seat for the Titans playoff game, and the very first play, Ryan Tannehill throws an interception. So it was reminiscent of like this already being bad before I get to my seat, and that was already in my head, and then it proceeded to get worse. Like it couldn't have started any worse way possible. We let a kickoff go back for a touchdown. We fumble it 2 plays later, and it's 14-0 after they run it in, and I think we do score after that, but then we throw an interception after the McCoy interception. And it was just one of those games where you just felt like Tennessee was going to absolutely Tennessee the living Tennessee out of this game. And they did for a quarter. But, man, once that first quarter was over, it was clear who the better team was.
Boy, don't y'all think that was Nico's worst throw on the year? I told Starla as soon as he threw it, I said, that's intercepted. It was almost like when a quarterback's under pressure and his hand gets tipped. There was no
Mhm.
power behind it. I don't know if he had a mini stroke when he
Yeah.
threw it or what.
I don't understand. I don't understand what's if a player's streaking down like the sideline.
That was a
If you got-
touchdown. He had it.
I'm just saying, like if a player is streaking down the sideline, like from left to right, if you're on your left and your right, like he can launch the ball.
Yeah.
But if it's kind of over the middle, his power like goes away. But man, Nico, well, I don't want to take anything away from Nico because this is his best game of the whole year.
No,
And
that was just one glitch. You're not
Yeah,
gonna play perfect.
one glitch. But I agree with that. Like it's wild to watch him throw because sometimes it's so underthrown, and then sometimes it's overthrown, and sometimes it is like on the freaking money. And it feels like when he goes over the middle of the field deep, it's always underthrown. But when they're streaking down the sideline, he can throw it deep for some reason. I don't know.
That's a good point.
I
Like
just
said,
think he missed through it. I think he just got the release point wrong or something. It was
he
it was
had
clearly
to have. But
he
Thornton
just kind
had
of
two
screwed up
steps
there.
on the,
Hold on
the
to it
defender.
too long. I mean, it was down the sideline. He was running down the sideline, but he had to run in because that's where the pass ended up.
Mhm.
It was just a bad pass. I think he just maybe he got a little too giddy when he saw it and held on to it a little too long or too early, one or the other. I mean, we've all thrown footballs before. You can screw up your throw just if you release it wrong. But it's what it is. It was bad timing though. It felt like we were Oklahoma against us early in the year, getting the turnover and then immediately giving it right back. You felt like you were just going to shoot yourself in the foot all day. And man, I'm so happy I kept my self-control and did not open that X app on my phone because there was
was
some
bad.
temptation to open that app, but I knew what I'd see if I opened it, man, because it felt like World War III in my head, and I knew it would be like World War 17 on that app. Yeah, we overcame it though, and Samson gets 180 yards or something like that, and breaks the single season record held by Travis Stevens, and he might have more than one game left in his Tennessee career to add on to that record.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about that. Like we immediately, like we get the interception, we immediately throw it back to him. What I still say, Thornton, he had two steps on that guy, but that McCoy interception and then that kick when he hits the crossbar and falls in, doesn't that seem like something we've seen happen to our team over the years? Like when that went over the crossbar, it's like, okay, we may be onto something. Because I mean, honestly, when we didn't give them, we spotted them 14 points. So when they had to go the whole field, they only scored once the whole game as far as getting in the end zone after that. That's it. Like we really dominate them. That's what sucks. Like it doesn't matter. A win's a win. We're going to the playoffs. But you take away those two scores and I get as part of the game. But that's game's never close. Ever.
Here's 100%. Here's the thing that I went back and rewatched the game when I got home earlier from Thanksgiving in Memphis. I went back and rewatched it, and of course they take the opening kickoff back on us, which automatically just pissed me off. Here we go. What Austin said a minute ago, the most Tennessee. We're going to Tennessee. But honestly, when Dylan Sampson fumbled, and he's had a bad year in fumbling, but when Tennessee fumbled the ball and Vandy got it back, that was their first drive. And every team has a scripted first drive. And I know it was a little bit closer to the goal. I mean, their goal line than it would have been if we would have kicked it off to them. But they have scripted plays for that first drive. So that was basically Vandy's first drive of the game. And so it looked crisp. It looked good. And then after that scripted drive was over and Tennessee kind of settled down a little bit. The defense in the first half, it was late in the second quarter when their defense kind of started to settle down, Tennessee's defense. And then Tennessee defense came out second half, and they looked so much faster. Boo Carter
monster
was one of the guys that I just could not stop watching. The guy is so – we had that tackle where he took the legs out from under that wide receiver hole. Reminded me of Eric Berry.
Yes, I rewinded it. I know it blew my mind, dude. He knocked the crap out of that guy.
It reminded me of Eric Berry. The way he just flew in there out of nowhere and took his legs out. I was like, holy crap, that was Eric Berry.
You know, that's funny you said that because I remember, I think it was second quarter. I mean, they were up 17-7. And I was like, man, that Diego guy's killing us. Well, they showed the stats and he was only like 3 for 10, 22 yards. I was like, oh, he's really not doing that much. And I thought, well, of course he's not. They've returned a kick and then our best player hands them the ball in our territory. So obviously, you don't have that many yards. Like, he really wasn't that big of a factor as far as like once we settled down.
He
was rattled, man. There were several times he was limping off.
He was so rattled, and that hit where Brooks came over and hit him, and then the whole team dived on top of him.
He leveled him.
I was like,
was that fourth down?
Yeah, it was.
This game's over.
Wasn't that when he held the ball behind him like that?
Yes.
Is that the play? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought the same. I was like, that's it. Well, and I think you had tweeted that. So one of y'all tweeted that. That was the turning point in the game.
Yeah. It really
awesome.
felt like that was the turning point because everything we kind of shot ourselves in the foot a lot before that, and that was our first like break we got at midfield, and then we immediately go down. I think that was I think we get a field goal after that, and then we get a stop, and then the Thornton what was it, like 75 yards touchdown pass. That was the third longest touchdown pass in Tennessee history.
No, it was it 75?
I'm just guessing.
No, it was 70. I think it was 79. It doesn't matter. I think it was 79. The other longest was Casey Clausen to Mark Jones in the Georgia game that one year.
Well, you know that's another thing. 22, we were known for our big plays. So our 4 touchdown drives, they all 4 went for a minimum 70 yards. 2 of them for 90+ yards. Like that's the offense we've been waiting on. And it's freaking Vandy. I get that, but it felt like finally we were clicking.
It's team better than Bama, apparently. I mean, you can say it's Vandy, but Vandy's been worth a damn lately. But we did make them look like they were Vandy again. If you take away that, like you said, you take away spotting them 14 points, you treat them like they're a Vandy. You could have even made it worse. I honestly think for your playoff hopes, you should have probably had another touchdown.
Yeah,
and you probably could have. Like James Franklin, did you see his rant where they asked him about?
He was right.
Late?
Yeah, he was
like,
right.
Well, until you change the format, we're painting pictures over here. We're trying to make it look as pretty as we can. And
what was James Franklin's rant? I missed that.
It was about he like added another touchdown late, run the score up, and he also said like the backups come in. They don't want to not play football. They want to actually play the real plays. And he's freaking right. I mean, I've never gotten the mindset of, oh, well, we should always be respectful. Like, why? Why can't we just have fun? Why can't we just play football?
That's what pissed me off about Butch Jones. Is he put the backups in and just handed off every single.
Well, he did it up 14 in the second quarter. Yeah, so,
but you know what I mean. And you get hype out there. His backups are still chunking it down the field. And that's the one thing that I really enjoy about Heupel is he does not stop. He keeps going.
Well,
and now I think we know now why he did on Drinkowitz, because Drinkowitz can. I think we all know how Drinkowitz is.
Well, it's not fair to those players, and you need to go watch the rant because Franklin's right. He's like, look, we had our 3rd and 4th string in. They had their 1st string in. We're going to run what we're going to run. They practice. They work hard. They should be able to go out there and play football. Stop us.
And I've always been a massive. I agree. Yeah. Well, I agree. yeah. That's a trend. But I always agree with you are here to win games. You're not here to make friends. And I cannot stand that. Oh, he's not being respectable. If I'm a heck, I don't care. I am not paid to be your friend. I am not paid to make your players feel, oh, let's butter them up. I feel sorry for you. No, I'm going to kill you. I am paid to win a lot of games. I'm paid to win. Nick Saban did the same thing. I'm paid to win. I don't care about you. I don't care. Early in Nick Saban's career at Bama, he would run the score up on everyone. You're not Urban Meyer. Every great coach, Steve Spurrier, all those dudes, they didn't care about your feelings. And guess what happened? They won national titles because they didn't care.
Do you think that's like, I think it's confidence. Like, do you think that's because a lot of those coaches, especially if they're like, I may get fired this year and I may need another job after that. You think that's why? You know, a lot of these coaches get fired, then they go work for the people that they lost to.
Well, I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you're a good head coach, if you're a good football team, if you're in the
Well,
top
that's
10.
what I mean. Do you think that's what separates them as like Spurrier and Saban?
Yes.
They knew they weren't getting fired. They had confidence. I'm gonna go beat your ass, and
Yeah,
like I'm not getting fired. And I don't have to work for you. I think that's what happens to a lot of them.
Well, I get that, but then you have like coaches like Ryan Day who can run the score if he wants to in these games. I think Ryan Day is a crappy coach. That's just my opinion. I think Ryan Day is one of the most overrated people to ever take the Ohio State job.
I mean, he never really did anything before this. I
No.
mean, I don't understand why everyone thought he'd be such an excellent head coach.
Larry
the guy
Coke.
literally said he already said about the Ohio State rivalry or losing to Michigan what it did to him. He said it was worse than his dad dying. He said that was a dark day in my family, but nothing like losing to Michigan. And I'm just like, oh my god, dude!
Tell me how
after this game, I'm surprised we haven't heard about his death already. Like I'm surprised he's not like jumped off a bridge or something with losing to Michigan for a fourth straight season.
He's modern day Larry Coker. Remember, Larry Coker was handed keys to Miami.
Yep.
And same with him.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
I just never that never works out. That never ever works out. I find like unless like with Fulmer, like he took over after Majors, but he kind of proved himself as a good coach in that time as an interim, and he took that momentum and kind of spout and kept it going and kept the entire staff with him. And he was obviously a great coach because they hit a little bit of stride immediately when he joined the staff. So I mean, it can work out, I guess, but I just find you're better off going with someone proven than just someone that was handed whatever they were given.
Yeah.
That's always been my mindset. And he is overrated. He never has has no big wins on his resume. That roster's made up with more money than you can ask for. They got everything. If he made a wish list of players to get, he got every one of them except for David Sanders. But
I heard on the radio from a guy that's from Ohio that roster cost $40 million this year. $40 million for a college roster.
You had CJ last season. You had 2 seasons ago. CJ Stroud, Marvin Harrison Jr. Who's the other guy on there? And you couldn't win? You couldn't win a national title with those dudes? It's crazy. And kind of going back to the point I was making a minute ago about a coach not giving a damn. I don't care about your feelings. I'm here to win games because that's my job and I get paid to do that. That's why we love Tony Vitello and everyone else hates him.
Yeah.
That's the exact reason why. He doesn't care. He wants to kill you. He has a killer instinct. That's what great coaches do. And he's already won a national title because of it, because he doesn't care. And his players feel the exact same way. And so when you have a coach like, if you have a coach like Josh Heupel, when he had Hendon Hooker, and Nico seems like Austin's been saying the whole season, like Nico's been taking steps after step after step. You see it. You see him getting better. So when Nico continues to get better, Heupel's going to have that killer instinct again.
Speaking of Nico, that was his best, maybe his best game as a Vol. I mean, I think the second half against Bama is the most impressed I was with him, but overall just a solid out. I mean,
his most complete game.
Most complete
game.
Yeah. Also, I want to give credit, like he would have had that kind of day versus Kentucky, but we dropped everything, and the receivers didn't drop everything versus Vandy. That was a big. That's the entire difference in those two games. Like, he would have had that amazing of a day or better against Kentucky, but we just couldn't hold on the ball to save our life, and we missed every field goal. So I want to make that clear. But what do you think about Vandy's defensive game plan? They just rushed 3 all day and let Nico sit back in the pocket.
It reminded me of our game plan against Georgia.
Yeah.
Let's just let the quarterback stand back there and pick us apart. That's what it looked like.
Okay, so you say that, but I just before this podcast, I just got done watching the game. And Nico was rushed for a time or two. And I agree with you guys. It was a very not a very aggressive rush or anything like that. But when Nico did get rushed, he ran out, made plays, he used his legs. Finally, like this is what I'm love seeing, y'all. Is Nico finally using his legs and them designing that game? They design runs for Nico, and you see what happens when that happens. Like when your quarterback starts running, that whole defense has to think. And when Nico doesn't run, they don't have to think. No one has to think. So they need more design runs. He needs to get down when he needs to get down. Obviously,
Yeah, he's getting killed.
he's getting hit hard when he just needs to go down. But still, at the same time, when even if it's like a 3 or 4 or 5 yard run, you got to think those defenses are like, okay, someone needs to watch him. And guess what happens when someone needs to watch him? They're spotting the quarterback. Someone's open. So, yes.
Well, that's what helped Dobbs out so much years ago. And Dobbs wasn't nearly as accurate as what Nico showed he could be. But I think Nico averaged, 7 yards a carry? I mean, that's insane for a quarterback.
He had a good game. And he reminds me of the way Nico he doesn't really do it much anymore, but early in his career at Tennessee, how he kind of stepped out of bounds like Dobbs did. Like he did it against Iowa and all that kind of stuff. But now he's taking more hits. I wish he could go back and just watch Josh Dobbs film and like, this is what you need to do when he gets silenced, just hop out of bounds. Because he did that earlier in his career when he ran. But yeah, Austin, I mean, we've discussed this on previous podcasts the last couple of weeks. Like he's getting better every single week. He really
I really believe so. I think and that's why I really am happy this team's getting in the postseason and pray to God they get a home game against. I think if we get Ohio State in Neyland Stadium, first of all, that scene and having them on our field, a team like there's not a team in the world I hate more that's outside the SEC than Ohio State. They're fans of the most arrogant piece of shit on the planet. Like they're right now acting like they are at rock bottom. This is like the worst it can ever get. But you don't know anything about how bad it can get. I hope to God someday you find out how bad it can get because it can get really bad. I've seen 4-8, man. You don't want to see 4-8. You don't want to see 5 losing seasons in a decade because that's rock bottom for a program of a blue blood program. But if we can get them in Neyland Stadium, whatever time kicks off, it would just be a beautiful scene. I mean our white and orange helmets versus their silver with whatever Buckeye leaf on it. Helmets.
Buckeye on it.
Yeah, it would just be such a beautiful scene like that. That's college football, baby, and that's the number one reason. Like I had my problems with the 12-team playoff, but the number one thing I loved about it was you get to see matchups you've never seen before. Like you never see Ohio State in Neyland Stadium, or you never see Tennessee in Columbus because it's just I don't know, it just doesn't happen typically. But that would just be an absolutely amazing scene right before Christmas. Oh my God, I'm getting excited right now talking about it.
Well, and you're right. Like they haven't seen the losing we've had. There was a stat that popped up, and I was like, man, that is an insane stat. And it kind of shows a trend. And before I get going, Rainey, Google trend. You don't know what that means. And do not interrupt me with this, okay? I know how you like to steal content. Don't steal my segment on this. I mean, I wish your first name started with a B so he can call you like, Blake the bankrupter or something. But the stat on Tennessee was we had lost 33 straight down 14-0 since 2017. Is that not insane to y'all?
Hang on, say that one time.
We had lost before the Vandy game. We had lost 33 straight games when we were down 14-0 since 2017.
Holy crap.
And I thought we have been down 14-0 33 times, but it makes sense. But it goes back to the Ohio State thing. They don't know about being down because they don't play Georgia, Alabama when they're peak Alabama like us. Their hardest game every year is Michigan.
I think I know when that comeback was. I think that comeback was the Georgia Tech game in Atlanta. And so you got the whole entire rest of Butch's last season.
So it was the first game of 2017.
And the first, that was the opening game for the season. So you get basically the entire 2017 season. Then you mix in 2018, 2019, 2020, the entire Pruitt era, and the first year of Heupel. And I guess we've added maybe 1 or 2 in the last 3 years. But so yeah, we had some bad coaches. We had some bad
33 times in 7 years we've been down 14-0.
But right now we are in the best 3-year stretch in Tennessee football since I think 1999. That is where we are where we're at right now.
100%. But okay, so I don't want to be doom and gloom. I'm not. I want to talk about.
Here we go.
No, I want to talk about something. I don't want to be like, oh, this is a great.
This is a trend. This is a trend, Randy. I'm not liking this trend.
Rain clown Rainy.
No, so I brought up. Someone sent me a picture of a trend graph. There's a graph that has to do with trends over this season with Tennessee about starting slow. So, especially on the road, we start really slow. Which apparently is not a trend. But I want to talk about Tennessee the entire season. If we get in the playoffs, like, we can't start slow. We can't. I get like 14-0 against Vandy and a slow start against, like, we can't have a slow start against an Ohio State or a team like Indiana or a team like any of those big. It's 12 best teams in the country.
We'll get killed.
You cannot do it. You can't do it. So, yes, Tennessee did come back against Vandy, which I thought was amazing. Tennessee has been a second half team the entire season. That
Minus Georgia. Georgia.
Well, because of the first half has been so bad usually.
Well, yeah, but that's true. That's a true statement, right? Like, we've been a bad team in the first half all season. First quarter, the first quarter. We started out slow all season.
Minus Georgia.
Pretty much, yeah, minus Georgia. Pretty much every single
Should
game
we be getting better in the first quarter? Seems like a bad idea.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't. If we get down against one of these good teams, I'll be worried because this is for real. Like, this is big ball boy now. This is big boy ball. Sorry, big boy ball now. Big ball boy.
God, so we're playing Penn State.
But you get what I'm saying. You can't do it.
No,
we're in the playoffs. You can't do it. You can't do it.
You cannot. You can't spot somebody 14 freaking points.
You can't do it. But on the positive hand, it's what Brew McCoy tweeted out earlier today or yesterday. I can't remember what I love this team. And we've talked about this. This team loves playing with each other. And I fully believe when you love playing with your team, that's why they come back and win these games, because they trust their team. The team trusts each other. They trust each other. They're not fighting and bitching with one another. They trust what the guy next to him is doing, and they just keep doing it. And Tennessee's one of the best teams in the country. There's no denying that.
The team has had its ups and downs, and I will say throughout the year, I've said this team has annoyed me, and I think when it peaked for me was when John Campbell got that penalty or hit that guy late. I was like, "What are you doing, dude? We're so undisciplined." But that guy that he hit was also he had the late hit on Squirrel White, so it makes me wonder what's being said on the field. You know what I mean? Something led to Campbell. Campbell went nuts, man. I've never seen that out of him. But stuff like that, I will say, like you're talking about going down 14-0. Like, we're in the playoffs, so it's hard to complain. And it's not being negative, it's critiquing. Some of the penalties, man, are ridiculous. Like, how many times did we jump off sides? And Vandy was smart. They kept having movement on that line, and we kept falling for it every time. That crap, you got to clean it up, man. Because at one point it was 3rd and 2, and then 2 penalties later it was 3rd and 12. Or maybe it was 3rd and 13.
I think one was encroachment, though, and they had the guy saying it was.
It was. But still, like, you notice a trend with that, man. Like, the penalties, we had 100 yards of penalties. That's a whole football field. Like, a close game against Ohio State or Oregon, you cannot afford that.
No, you can't. It would be detrimental. You in these type of environment. And if we do have to go on the road, I'm not gonna lie, that does scare me. But also, Ryan Day doesn't win those kind of games. He just doesn't throughout his career. Especially if you put SEC talent on the field.
Let's play hypothetical here. If Tennessee ends up playing Ohio State, I think, I'm going to get you guys' opinion. I think Tennessee buries them. I don't think Ohio State's good.
Where do they play at, though?
I don't think it matters.
I don't know, Barry. They still have.
We lost at Arkansas, so I'm not going to say it doesn't matter where we play.
Yeah, true. But I'm just saying, I think Tennessee. I watching Ohio State all season, no matter who, their games, they haven't blown anyone out all season. I mean, neither have we.
No, we haven't. I'm not bearing anybody. I mean,
but we played way
you
better.
can beat somebody.
But we played way better.
You get the Miners in our stadium.
Well, why are we talking about Penn State? Oh, Miners with an E. My bad. I digress. I really feel we blew out Vandy. The score didn't show it. But I'm like you, though, Rainey. Like, Ohio State at home, I'm confident. Like, I don't really sports gamble anymore. But I will put money on Tennessee to win that game.
Oh, I think we beat them. I mean, I could see like 21-10. I don't think either team is gonna make it really pretty though. That's just my opinion. Because Ohio State still has, one of the most talented teams in the country, and that defense will probably just keep it interesting the whole game. But I think we do
too, though, and I think we have a coach. I think we have a coaching advantage.
I don't think either offense is that hot. I never understood why Will Howard was going to save them. I just never comprehended. Like, what did he show you at Kansas State that was so unbelievable that he was going to turn Ohio State into this like juggernaut? I never got it. And then I can't remember his name. Kyle McCord leaves Ohio State and has a great year at Syracuse. Just upset Miami yesterday.
Yeah, he played good too.
Even though they're putting them around way better athletes and playing, Northwestern every week, basically, he never saw the height of his abilities. Maybe Ryan Day's not that good of a coach. And I hope they never get rid of him. Because here's the thing about Ohio State, you can never fail. Like, everyone's like, I know it's making fun of Ohio State because they never suffered for real. But in a way, though, they can never suffer like we have. They could never. It could never happen. You know why? Because it's just too easy. You play cake every week. And it boggles my mind how they come over like, hey, are you playing UTEP this week? Oh, yeah, SEC is so easy. Mother believer, you played UTEP like 17 times. I mean.
Well, you're right. So Message Board Geniuses, they had posted a Purdue fan. It was a great tweet from them. And he said if we had been spotted, I think it was 32 points each game this year, we would still be 6-6. And I get it. We play Vandy, but Vandy also beat the number 1 team in the nation this year. Big difference.
They also beat Virginia Tech. They also held LSU last week. They've only lost Texas. Yesterday. Had Texas down to the wire. That was the second worst loss of their season. That no one blows Vandy out this year. They are a tough. They're a tough customer.
Well, you know what's crazy. I'm gonna go ahead, DR.
Well, no, go ahead, because I was just gonna bring up Will Howard one more time.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say that people talk about how Ohio State has a soft schedule. Well, all these people that are talking about Texas, all these Texas fans are like, "Oh, welcome to the SEC. Look at us now." Buddy, y'all haven't played. It's almost the same schedule as Ohio State. Actually, your schedule may be a little tiny bit harder. You haven't played Tennessee. You haven't played LSU. You haven't played Ole Miss. You haven't played any of those teams. Like, none of them. You didn't play Alabama.
They played Georgia and lost.
So the craziest thing is like Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The thing that grew me crazy with their schedule, they didn't have to go anywhere besides A&M. And A&M, I mean, who the hell knows what they're doing? I mean, they're Superman one day and can't do a damn thing the next. So they didn't have to go to the swamp. They didn't have to go to Neyland. They didn't have to go to Athens. They didn't have to go to Tuscaloosa. They didn't have to go to Oxford. They have to go to Columbia, South Carolina, the death valley that is. They didn't have to go to Death Valley. They didn't have to even go to Columbia, Missouri. Where the hell did they go? Vandy. They did go to College Station. They went to Mississippi State. Did they go to Mississippi State? Yeah, they went to Mississippi State.
You just wait when you have a schedule like Florida.
Stretch.
Wait when you have a schedule like Florida. Wait till you have a schedule like Georgia. Wait till you have a schedule like Tennessee every year. It's Oklahoma. It's coming. Yeah, exactly. Oklahoma schedule. It is.
They don't
coming.
have to go to Oklahoma.
When it gets here, you'll realize how tough it is. When you're like, oh my gosh, because their second toughest game behind Vandy, A&M. They played it last night.
And that game really wasn't close if you watched it. You're talking about Will Howard, though. It does make you wonder how they evaluate these quarterbacks, because it's kind of like God, what is his name? Hugh Freeze at Auburn. He stayed with that quarterback when he could have gotten like Diego the Explorer. Whatever the Vandy's quarterback's last name is. Like imagine Diego at Ohio State with that roster. They would blow everybody out. I would put money on them to win the national championship.
Would they though? Would Ryan Day screw him up and he just wouldn't be good?
I mean, that's fair. Well, because Clark Lee, man, he got hired to play at Vandy. He is a good coach. I'll give props to him. The
smartest thing he ever did was hire Jerry Kill on that staff. Jerry Kill had won everywhere he'd been and has had medical issues or health issues. And he hired him as an assistant after he stepped down at New Mexico State for whatever reason. And, he brought his quarterback with him. And that, I think, was maybe the biggest part of that turnaround because Jerry Kill had one with less talent at so many places like Minnesota and Idaho and New Mexico State. I mean, hell, I don't know if you remember last year, but New Mexico State walked into Auburn and beat the living hell out of them with Jerry Kill as the head coach. And then the very next week, Auburn should have beat Alabama. So that was the smartest thing he could have done. I think that's part of the reason for the turnaround. But Clark Lee definitely, in my opinion, deserves SEC Coach of the Year.
I mean, honestly, he outcoached Heupel in that first quarter at least. I mean, I tweeted that in the first quarter, we're getting outplayed and outcoached. Very frustrating.
Why did they pass so much?
That's what I didn't get, because that's what they're known for is killing the clock. That's what they did against Bama. They were up 14-0. I would have never kept throwing the ball. I would have run that clock until we got caught up. That's what helped us get back into it.
I feel like they kept getting 4 yards each run play, and they went away from it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you think they've been running instead of throwing it, and that freak interception by McCoy, that game might have been different.
Yeah. I mean, I when we threw the interception, I thought the game was over. I mean,
me too.
I didn't think over, but I thought over. It felt you felt sitting there in that little tiny ass stadium that it was just one of those days where you're an idiot who paid all this money to get here, and you're just gonna get a big old pie in your face. Because that's what Tennessee football does to us sometimes.
It was going to ruin my season, man. Like, back when Grant and Admiral got put out against Purdue, I didn't watch another game rest of the year. I wasn't going to watch the playoffs because we were so close. It's kind of like 2 years ago, like with South Carolina. I didn't watch playoffs that year. It would have ruined it. I halfway considered not going to my family Thanksgiving that night, honestly, if we'd lost against Vandy, because we're so close. We got the team to do it. It worked out, but
it says a lot about us that we just settled in and we had the lead.
Dominated. Dominated.
Finally hit that pass to Kitzelman. Did you like seeing Nico get into it with those guys? Getting chippy.
It's awesome.
So
like he's getting more comfortable and
he's getting when he got into it and like flexed on those guys and like pointed at him and like just like chippy with them, I was like, finally. Like, I know Nico is like this chill, calm guy, but when he got into those players, I thought it was awesome. And that pass to Ketzelman over the top was incredible too.
Oh, great throw!
It was point blank, just right over 3 defenders.
Yeah,
a DB and 2 linebackers just launched over him. Where only Ketzelman can catch it. It was a beautiful pass, and Nico. Man, when people have been calling him all season, like Joe Milton 2.0, they have lost their damn minds. Those people are just the dumbest people in this fan base. And I get it. Everyone can say some dumb stuff. Everyone does dumb things, but those people right there are by far.
He's 19.
Boy, I comparing him with Joe Milton, that underthrow interception, I was begging for Joe Milton. He would at least overthrew that.
Yeah, but I've told you all year, Austin, like just throw it up. Give your receiver a chance.
He did it, and he got that PI too.
Yes.
Later,
in that game, he threw it up against Vandy. Good things happen when you throw the ball deep. Good thing that good stuff happens. And we sat here and said, I believe, DR, you said it, that Nico, starting as a freshman, a true freshman, would get 2 more wins than Joe Milton. What's the record now this year?
Oh, this year you're beating Arkansas.
I'm talking about like the record this year. It is 10-2. What was last?
Oh, I thought you meant had he played and had more experience from last year. Never mind.
No,
I
sorry,
misunderstood the question.
I'm talking about when we had this debate against all the Joe Milton lovers. I don't understand it, and when we said that Nico coming in as a true freshman will win 2 more games than Joe Milton. What was Joe Milton's last? What was Joe? Yes. What was Joe
8-4?
Yes, last season as a 6-year player. Like, I'm just saying, it's. I don't know. I think Nico sitting on the bench last year too much. I get the red shirt. I get it. His family. I don't know the true story, but if he got his playing time last year, I feel like this season would be a whole lot more polished by about midway through. But again, Nico right now seems like he's kind of hitting a little understanding everything in his head.
Yeah, well, and Austin brought that up earlier. That's why he's glad we're making the playoffs. Obviously, you want your team to make the playoffs, but give him more time to hit his stride. Because, yeah, to me, if he does play last year, he's probably hitting his stride sooner, and who knows what you do against Georgia, honestly. And it was nice to see him get fired up because I get he's a chill guy, but honestly, when you're losing, that gets annoying to me. Get fired up and show you care. I'm not saying he don't care. I get everybody's demeanor is different. But, like, him getting fired up, man, that reflects on the rest of your team. Like, this guy's going to fight for us.
Well,
you know what I mean?
No, 100%. And this game right here was do or die. You had to win this game to get in the playoffs, or you're done. You're done. And he ran it. He threw. He played like a quarterback that wanted to win the game. He played, I want this. I'm going to run. I'm going to take hits. I'm going to get first downs. I'm going to get close to the first down. I'm going to open up the playbook because of my running ability. It was a real, I mean, people are going to say, oh, he only threw for 257 yards. Yeah, he threw for 4 touchdowns too.
Hey, did people really complain about that? Your running back had 180 yards. Where else is he supposed to get the yards? That's dumb.
I've seen opposing fan bases like, oh, Nico sucks. He's only threw.
Well, okay. They don't watch the game. They
257 yards. He looked pretty damn good in that game.
They're gay. That's dumb. You had a running back just set your single season rush record with 180 yards. Of course, he only had 257 yards. That's all you needed. You still beat him by 2 scores.
Yeah.
God, man, fan bases piss me off. How stupid they can be.
Yeah.
How dare they?
And we got it in our fan base too. I remember beginning of the year we had people after that Arkansas loss. They wanted JG over Nico. I'd rather just take a knee every play.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say, like, the player Nico was in that Arkansas game, he's nowhere near the inexperienced
100%.
kid that he was there. Never in a million years now he run out of bounds on the last play of the game like Joe Milton.
But
also, one thing about this, I'm so happy we get 3 weeks off because we have to get healthy, man. We are hurt across the board. That is massive for us. I mean, Thornton went out, Elijah Simmons went out. Who else went out?
Umarov, he kept getting hurt on the extra point, so prayers up to him.
Yeah, God, man, it's like it's a bugaboo of his. He just needs to get over it, man.
That's definitely a trend with him. He keeps getting hurt, man.
He has a trend of having bad luck. Getting hurt.
Yeah.
It's just it's terrible luck. It's always him too.
Most dead gum bugaboos.
What could that be?
I know. You just talk about it's always him. That's how I feel when we're at tailgates and the Miller Lite runs out. And I look at Austin. It's always him taking the rest of it.
You know,
it's always him falling down.
Shout out to Jordan.
Yeah. We need to someone needs to ask Heupel about Umarov always getting hurt.
That would be so funny.
What do you think his response is? Like, what am I gonna say, man? Kid just can't stay healthy.
It does make me wonder.
For about 5 minutes.
It makes me wonder because Sankey did put that note out about teams being fined. Has anybody been fined by the fake injuries yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
It'll be us. It's going to be us be the first team.
Probably.
That'd be awesome.
More than likely.
Man, I'm sure it's been discussed, but it's weird going to a Tennessee Vandy game in their stadium. We were actually on the Vandy side, on that, and it's just like,
oh, okay.
There's just a few and far between people where they're actually Vandy fans, and it's just like, man, why are you doing that to yourself? What is the gain out of all this? I mean, you get one upset maybe every 5 years.
Yeah.
Is that really worth it? I mean, you don't even look like you went here. You're wearing clothes like me.
I I got a friend. His name's Chris. He's a big Vandy fan. And I remember asking him one time. I was like, what is that like?
What?
How are you any way at all excited about anything football related? It would suck. Like it would suck. Like you're never gonna be that team ever.
Well, I mean, what did he say? Because they're basically, I mean, you could equate it to being like a Native American. Every time you gain ground, you end up losing it anyway.
He's not wrong. And I was telling that Hacksaw Jim Duggan guy on Twitter. Me and him were DMing back and forth. He's actually a pretty funny guy. But he told me, going 6-6, that's the same as going to the playoffs for you guys. Us going 6-6 is equal to go in the playoffs. I'm like, why would at some
there's
point
some truth to that. No, there's some truth to that. Like
it is.
We expect to go to the play. Well, never mind. Now let's say we expect to go to the playoffs for Tennessee. They just want to go 6-6.
Yeah, that's the dream. It's just crazy,
you got to remember they're the same team. They beat number 1 Alabama, but they also lost to Georgia State. And personally, as a Tennessee fan, I can't imagine my team losing to Georgia State.
No, it's unimaginable. It's I couldn't fathom it.
You guys remember when James Franklin was at Vandy?
Yeah, he was awesome.
He basically called out the Vandy, like, you're never going to win here unless you do something about it.
Yeah,
he left. Right. He's like, you guys are never going to do anything ever because you don't care about this. And he won 9 games there 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. That's insane.
Could you hear James Franklin? It's insane. Could you hear the foghorn on the TV?
No. I mean,
they play a foghorn every third down. And I was right behind it. It was
I did hear
excruciatingly loud. Oh my God, their sound guy was so desperately trying to drown out people singing Rocky Top. It was hilarious. They just installed this brand new sound system on that side of the end zone, and every time, anytime we get going. Rocky.
I do know. I noticed it in the first quarter, and after that, I guess I got used to it. I know what you're talking about now because I noticed it when they first got the ball.
It wasn't a fun experience. It just felt very. I don't know. It felt like I was at a club, kind of. It was a weird place. It wasn't that cold. You weren't enough clothes. You weren't that cold. But
I just got a text saying that you could hear the horn very loud on TV. I could kind of hear it, but I was outside in a garage for Thanksgiving. Like, I guess for the people that are watching it at home, like in their den, I guess you could hear it. But I've been there, Austin. I know exactly what that sounds like. It's very annoying, and it's like the most rattly sounding horn too. It's very it's there's no bass to it. It's high pitched horn, and it hurts your ears almost.
It just I guess Vandy has one tradition. I mean, and you don't even see it. It's just out of nowhere. I think it's coming from one of the booths or something like that. So you don't even see it. There's not even that kind of fun, at least with the cannons at what the stadiums that do cannons. I think Missouri does. You at least see a cannon go off, and that's kind of you get it. But you don't even see the horn. It's not like they should actually do that. They should do a big old horn on top of the stadium, like SpongeBob's alarm clock.
Yeah, embrace it. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
So
he has a little shake to it. It's like rusty.
Like you with your dry erase board.
So
that will never bring up Sheila.
That will dig up Sheila. I think that was Jill, actually.
God, that was all-time podcast. Jesus.
So
yeah, I saw you bring it back the other day. Oh.
Yeah, it got a lot of interaction.
It always will.
I'm gonna be seeing that when I'm 60. I know somehow.
Yeah. Well, you gotta take a Viagra for a podcast. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, the more I've gotten to I did steal that, and I've kind of been doing that. And the more I've gotten to know Rainey, honestly, still tweets.
Yeah, that's a trend. Okay. So, honest question here. After you've watched Tennessee for the past couple weeks, and we've discussed Nico getting better, Dylan Sampson, of course, is Dylan Sampson. Our defense is still our defense. What is your? I'm gonna go 1 to 10 here. Your confidence level going to the playoffs against everyone else. Give me like 1 to 10 of how you feel and how far you think we could potentially make it here. Because of course the playoff rankings are gonna come out Tuesday. We might want to do a live show about that because it's the most important one of the year. No, actually, no, it'll be after the SEC championship and after all the championships. But this is going to be pretty important too because it kind of gives you a bigger picture of what's going to happen. But going into the playoffs, what is your meter of from 1 to 10 of confidence going in? DR, what's your 1 to 10?
I mean, obviously, we're going into it blind because the first thing everyone would ask is, are we hosting the first game?
Yeah.
Because at home, I feel good about it. We've lost, one home game in 3 years, obviously, to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
On the road, I don't feel good about it because, I mean, we've lost a crappy Arkansas game or Arkansas team. But assuming we do host, man, I mean, I don't know. I guess 7 out of 10 the way we're playing right now. Because if you host and win, you're down to 8 teams then. So I'll give it 8 because I really feel at home, even if it is Ohio State, I think we win. So I'm going to go 8 out of 10.
Awesome.
Oof. Never thought. Okay, how I feel on a scale of 1 to 10. That's tough because, like, you know, what do I think our odds of winning national title are? I mean, let's say we got like a 20% shot. Is that fair?
Should I read your text from last night? We're winning it all.
Yeah, maybe.
That don't sound like something he'd say.
No. Okay, well, Sober Austin's here now. And my thoughts. I'm gonna go like 6.5 out of 10. I think we definitely. Honest to God, I don't think there's anyone that's beating us in Neyland Stadium. I think we're winning that game hands down. I would be shocked if we lost, even if it's Ohio State, even if it's Penn State, even if it's Georgia. Even if it's Georgia, I think we'd beat Georgia in Neyland Stadium. I truthfully do. And they should have lost to freaking Georgia Tech. That's almost gone forgotten now. But after Michigan and Ohio State. But the reason I wouldn't put it that high is just, I mean, it's a playoff, and I think we have about let's say we get Texas on neutral field. I think we beat them 1 out of 3 times on neutral field. And same would go for Oregon. Same would go for Notre Dame. Actually, I can't believe I'm saying this because I will ridicule that Northern Illinois lost more than anything in the world. I think Notre Dame's playing as the best team in the country right now. They look better than everybody right now, the way they're playing. They're the only team laying 40+ every time they roll out there. Basically, I know some of it was against Army and Navy, but just I mean, USC that was a pretty good team they beat.
They also rolled 40+ out when the year they faced Alabama when Monte Teo and get absolutely boat raced.
I don't think anyone's like that Alabama team.
I will never believe in Notre Dame.
Me either.
Never. Frauds.
So if I 1000% agree with you
because their strength of schedule, I don't even think it's in the top 100 when that chart came out about 3 weeks ago. I don't believe in them.
Could you imagine if Tennessee lost to NIU?
Yeah, because we lost Georgia State, but we
Actually,
were a
almost
trash
did lose
team.
to him one time.
No, I'm talking about this season. If we lost
the wire in 08.
If we lost, I'm talking about this season. If we lost to NIU this season, what would the committee be right now? We would be on the fringe of the playoffs. The fringe.
We'd be was it relegation? We'd be sent down to like American Conference or something.
Yeah, we'd be sitting down to like Guantanamo Bay.
I'll trash them, but we saw what Georgia just did to had the game with Georgia Tech, and they beat Georgia Tech 31-13 in Atlanta. I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay, so real quick, I'm looking at the AP top 12 right now. This cannot be right. Alabama's not in the. Let me look at the playoff picture if it was right now. I want to go through all these teams. Playoff bracket. Let me type it in, and I kind of want to go to. If it was today, that's not it. Let me go back. I want to go through all these teams with you guys. and kind of like name them off one by one and see what you would think if it was starting today. Okay, so we have starting today. Let's just go with these teams one by one here. I don't want to get both of you guys' opinions here. Would Tennessee beat these teams? I'm gonna start from the very top.
Where is the game?
I'm just saying,
like on neutral field.
Like I'm just saying on neutral field, there's no determination yet of what this is going to be, and this stupid projected college football playoff has Alabama as number 12.
Shocker!
What I don't think is going to happen. So I'm going to leave.
They can't.
Yeah,
so let's go on the Big 12 champ.
I'm gonna leave them out. So I'm gonna start 11. This cannot be right. Arizona State. They got Arizona State in right now as like the last one.
Well, they're guaranteed us. Whoever wins the Big 12 is guaranteed a spot.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Tulane lost the other night.
Based off the AP poll. Okay, here he goes. Based off the AP poll. Here we go. They got. Would Tennessee beat ASU?
Yeah. They beat them anywhere.
Okay. Would Tennessee beat Indiana?
Yeah, we beat them anywhere.
Anywhere. Okay. Would Tennessee beat Ohio State?
Not at Ohio State. Neutral. I think it's a toss-up.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I think Tennessee looks
neutral. Home, we beat them. In Columbus,
State,
I'd say it's toss-up because they don't. I mean, some of their worst games have been at home.
They don't look good,
and they kind of have that same kind of vibe. Their fans do that. Kentucky basketball fans do. They just kind of stuffy, and they've been paying for those season tickets for a long time. They don't think they should get loud, kind of attitude. So it's not like the Hornets' nest of like Neyland Stadium or Baton Rouge or something like that.
They remind me of the Eagles a few years ago, and Vince Young said they were like, what did he say? They're an all-star team or something like that. You remember that? They had all those signings.
This could be a dynasty.
Yeah, but they don't play together. Yeah, I mean, if I had to put money on it, I'd say we'd beat them as long as it's not at Ohio State.
Okay. All right. Georgia. We get a second shot at Georgia.
Neutral field? No.
Neutral?
Neutral field, we lose. Neutral, I don't think we do.
I don't know. Georgia just hasn't blown me away. I mean, here's the thing. On neutral field, I think 50. I would say it's toss up on neutral. I'd say we lose in Athens and we beat them at home. Because I honestly think we're right there with them. I mean, they have as many flaws as we do.
All right. Let's finish this out, and then we'll close the podcast. Notre Dame.
We beat them.
I think
we beat them.
Neutral, yeah. I don't believe in them whatsoever.
I think in Neyland we beat them. On neutral, it's toss-up. In South Bend, we're losing.
I'm talking about neutral. I don't care about home.
Yeah.
We're beating them.
Okay.
Well, it's a possibility we could play there.
What?
Well, I guess not anymore.
Okay. So as of right now, we've all got one loss to Georgia, correct? Kind of.
I think Austin thinks we beat them.
Okay.
I'd say it's toss-up.
Okay.
I think we're just as good as them. Like they have as many flaws as we do, and they have just as many good things about them as we do. We are right there. And honestly, we have a quarterback that I think we would win the turnover battle. So
Penn State.
Oh, we beat them. Yeah, Penn State.
Beat Penn State.
We beat Penn State. I think. Yeah.
All right. Why does this gets easier as we go along here? Boise State.
Oh yeah, it's blowout. Even at Boise. Yeah.
Yeah, anywhere in that game, we're blowing them out.
Okay.
They're very predictable.
SMU.
Yeah.
SMU would be praying for another death penalty by the time we got done with them.
Yeah. Texas.
Whew.
Texas is good, man.
I don't even know.
I say lose.
Texas
I don't
is
even
good.
know.
They're good.
I mean,
But they hadn't played anybody. But you can.
their offense hasn't put up points on anyone but Florida, seemingly.
But you got to remember they did play in the playoffs last year, and so which I guess that's just one more game experience by the time we get to them. But I would have to go Texas beat us.
I don't know.
I'd say toss up.
Toss up as well. I don't trust Texas right now with this schedule. They haven't faced anybody with a dominant defense. Have not.
That's the thing in college football now. There is no elite team. There's no team. I don't think. I'm going to say toss up. I think for the rest of them, because
and
I've seen
Oregon
as many bad.
Oregon has a couple weeks ago. They almost lost to who was it? Wisconsin. It's just it's crazy.
Idaho had them on the ropes.
Yes.
Boise State was that was a last second field goal.
Really?
Yeah.
So we are going through this entire bracket right here of who's probably going to be in the playoff. It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. Like, Tennessee could go all the way. Like, that is no joke. Like, the stars aligned. The stars have in 1998. The stars aligned. In Tennessee, everything that happened that could have happened. Tennessee this season, everything that could have happened to get in the playoffs happened. So get in this 12-team playoff. There isn't a team, and you said it 100 times, Austin. There isn't a team when Tennessee's playing their best that they can't beat.
Yeah, I absolutely 100% agree with that. If you play your best game, we're beating anybody and everybody. I mean, if they play their best game, I guess we're in a tough game. But do you guys? Here's some. Do you think this top 12? Do you think these are the 12 best teams in the country?
No.
Not even close.
No.
I think South Carolina and Ole Miss would maybe demolish nine out of these 12.
And that's what I'll say. I would definitely include South Carolina in top 12, the way they're playing.
And that's my problem is, like, they're putting Alabama as the first 3-loss team on the brink of getting into the playoff, and it has to be just Bama bias. It really has to be
100%. Because
if you watch the eye test, if you look with your eyes, you can't tell me Ole Miss and South Carolina are worse than them. I mean, I guess they got the head-to-head over South Carolina, but they wouldn't beat them now. And
Bama's a one-trick pony, kind of like Boise State.
They're one. Yes.
Stop Milroe.
That's a good.
And that's what Oklahoma did.
That is a good comparison, DR.
I was talking to a Bama fan. He was like, I was talking to a Bama fan. He's just he was saying he just keeps trying to run. It's like, yeah, that's all they got. Because he's got one receiver, and they're going to cover him.
Bingo. Like, that's what everybody kept saying. He's a 17-year-old kid. Well, why is the Alabama dynasty having to rely on an underage kid? Why is there nobody else? Because that's all they got.
It's the most talented roster in the country, and that's all they got. It's so crazy.
Yeah, except Penn State. I think. What?
I was trying to get that.
Oh, the Penn State?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh. Underage Penn State.
Yeah.
Okay. But we may need to do a live show possibly Tuesday night. I don't know if you can be available, DR, for the.
Isn't the basketball game on Tuesday night?
True. That's not happening then. Yep, it is. But
maybe we do Wednesday.
Yeah, possibly. But
we don't have a football game for 3 weeks.
Yeah, we don't.
And the semifinal game may be on your wedding night.
Oh my God! Seriously? Yeah.
What's crazy? We have a wedding night. We don't do it in the fall for the first time ever, and it's the playoff system. Fucking bullshit.
Yeah, we've never had a game on New Year's Eve.
Ever in our life.
Y'all need to split up and renew your vows in March when we play the Elite Eight.
Oh,
shit. Yeah.
I don't blame any of you guys for not coming if you don't want to come. So.
Austin's gonna be like
Magic
Johnson. I'm not gonna be there.
I might have a plane ticket in my back pocket for Pasadena. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Oh man, the Rose Bowl, man. The Rose Bowl will be the next day, and that's probably where we would be playing if we beat Ohio State. We'd be playing Oregon.
God, that would be awesome.
Playing
The Rose
Oregon
Bowl.
in the granddaddy of them all.
What
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like-
man?
Oh man, your wedding or that. Oh.
The Rainy Bowl or the Rose Bowl? What are we gonna do?
Of course, it's a lot cheaper to go to the Rainy Bowl.
I will not.
That's true.
I will not hold against anyone if they want to go to the football game instead of my wedding. Will not hold
I
it against.
I probably can't afford it, but we'll see. It
Hey,
won't be
there are
because I love
TVs.
you that much. It'll be because I'm too poor.
No. There will be TVs at our wedding all around the venue. So we've already.
Now,
planned
anyone
for this.
listening to this wants to pay for my trip.
Ah, you broke bastard.
Rainy, it's a commercial break. Get your vows. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, my friends. Damn. It's been a great podcast, fun podcast. We will do it again next week. At the same time. Well, we can't do it at this time anymore because it's interfering with somebody else. But we'll do it again some other time because we can't copy anybody else because Tennessee's orange and white. We're orange and white. We love orange and white. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I think you do. Anyway, good night. Go Vols. God bless. Peace out. We'll do it again.
Don't say go Vols. Everybody says that. You just
Oh my
copy.
gosh.
Always
Copy
good when
Tennessee's,
it's
everybody.
man.
Tennessee's orange and our we cover Tennessee. It's just too much alike. I don't understand.
You know, you really
What should we talk about?
you really
Uh,
did find the perfect partner because it
Like-
sounds like she's going to copy your last name, so you're like two peas in the pod.
Oh my god.
What a copycat.
Well, plot twist. I'm taking her last name. So
Hey,
If you didn't have enough trouble with names,
Rainy Henderson.
you just need to go by Henderson on Twitter. Just change your full
I
name to
thought that would be
Henderson.
awesome. Henderson Ball.
Henderson Ball.
I just completely
That's awesome, Ross.
I just completely delete my first name.
Yeah.
My first name, Rainey Henderson.
Well, you don't have.
Oh
You're
my
like
God.
Madonna. You're just Rainy.
Who the hell are
Oh,
you?
God. God.
I know.
Hey,
He's not Blake.
Well, anyway, great podcast. Guys, we're wearing all orange, so you better get that shit off because it's copying somebody else.
I'm not. I'm wearing cream.
bunch of dumbass, fraudulent motherfuckers. Good night. Bye bye. Peace out.